Jim, we'll start with the 90 minutes. How do you assess today's performance?
Performance-wise, I thought in the first half it was quite nervy. There seemed to be a lot of anxiety within the group. We just never settled into any rhythm at all. The game was just going back and forth, and it was very, very scrappy. The second half, I thought we had a lot more control in the game, and there's no doubt that the sending off has a huge impact on that. The extra man, the last 20 minutes, I thought we really made that count. We had to make some substitutions. What was working up to then, we had on the park up to then, wasn't really working. The shape wasn't causing there too many problems. So we made a slight tweak to the system. We went with 3 in the middle of the park with Mockery and Spooney in alongside Sibs, and thankfully it paid off. Sometimes as a manager, you make substitutions and they don't quite work. And this afternoon, obviously, I'm delighted that Chris Mockery comes onto the pitch, another academy player who scores a massive goal for the club.
He's developed quite a knack for scoring late goals. I mean, scored up at Inverness and then got a late one at Dunfermline as well. Can you put your finger on why?
No, listen, I've got a lot of confidence in Chris. I'd like to see a bit more from him. I'd like to see a bit more urgency and a bit more intensity to his all-round game. There's no doubt in the ability that he's got as a player. He's very positive in terms of as a midfielder, driving with the ball and getting us up the pitch, and you saw a little glimpse of that in the last kind of 3 or 4 minutes of the game. But he's certainly got a knack for putting the ball in the back of the net. And yeah, I'm really, really pleased for him. It's a huge goal at a really important moment for the club.
When the ball does hit the back of the net, what's the overriding emotion?
It's just probably similar to every other person in the stadium supporting Dundee United. It's just one of huge relief. The longer the game went on, the more you felt it was going to be another one of those days. And it's always difficult here at Tannadice against teams like Ayr, where they sit in quite compact, make life difficult for you. It's often very difficult to break them down. But I think the players deserve a huge amount of credit for the way that they performed in the second half. And it didn't matter how we won the game today. The most important thing was we got the result. And we don't have to go to Airdrie thinking about needing a victory, because that's an extremely difficult place to go against a very tricky team.
It's quite a strange feeling, not being able to celebrate it officially because of a technicality.
Well, we're celebrating it, I'll tell you that. I know mathematically it's still possible, but that's the benefit of being such a good attacking team and having such a good defensive record. We've enabled ourselves to have this huge goal difference, and given how well we've been defensively, I would find it very hard to believe that we could concede in excess of 30 goals in the next 2 games. So, we can say what they want about it not being done, but for us, we're going to enjoy this moment.
On a personal level, I think it's set to be the first trophy of your managerial career. I know you got promotion obviously with Alloa through the playoffs, so that must be quite a special feeling as well.
Yeah, I'm not really bothered about the personal accolades, to be honest with you. It's never about any one individual. It's always about the group. It's been a really tough kind of 18 months or so, since I've came into the club. Obviously, last season didn't pan out the way I had hoped at all. It would have been very easy, I think, for the powers that be here to draw a line under it and move on in a different direction and bring in a new face. So I'm eternally grateful to the chairman, to Luigi Capuano and the rest of the board of directors for having the confidence and having the belief to stick with me. And I'm just delighted that I was able to repay that faith.
You've justified that decision anyway with the way you've been able to right the wrongs this season yourself.
Yeah, I mean, look, we haven't always got it right, and me personally as a manager haven't always got it right. I think if you look at the points accumulated over the first half of the campaign, we were really good. We started that third quarter poorly and didn't pick up enough points. Now, I could harp on about excuses and injuries to key players and different things. There was 1 or 2 things that I tried out in that particular period of time that didn't work and didn't come off. And just like I'm saying there about substitutions today, go on and win you the game. Tactically, during that third quarter, I got things wrong, and I'm honest enough to admit that to the group and to my staff. But I'm just delighted that we were able to come through that difficult period. The players deserve a huge amount of credit all season for being able to handle the pressure and the level of expectation that's on them. I know people will, just say that this is what should have happened anyway. But if you look at all the leagues all over Europe, you look at the Scottish Premier League. People talk about budgets, but having the biggest budget doesn't always guarantee success. You can look at the positions of Aberdeen and Hibs in the Scottish Premier League right now. You still have to be professional. You have to be organised. You've got to build a squad of players with the right characters. And I think we've done that brilliantly in the summer. And I think, Luigi Capuano, the chief executive, deserves a huge amount of credit for that as well, because we had to try and balance the books in the summer. We had a lot of big earners that we had to move out, and then we had to replace them with players who know this league, who have had success in this league in the past. And I think we've done it, and I think everything that we have done up to now has been justified, which is extremely pleasing.
That process of recruitment will obviously have to start again, but you get to start it a couple of weeks earlier than you might have done because we've performed so well this season.
Yeah, I mean, look, behind the scenes we've remained professional. We've been looking at players from the tail end of last year, December, January time, looking at what players are going to become available, and we've been quietly optimistic behind the scenes. Of course, in all of the interviews that I've had to do in the build up to this point, you try and play it down. You don't want to add any more pressure to the players, and you certainly don't want to sound overconfident or arrogant in the press, and giving opposition team talks for them. But of course, we've been looking at players, we've been trying to see who's available, who fits within our budget for next season. And we've got a big job in our hands. We've got a lot of players out of contract. We need to have those conversations with those particular players over the next couple of weeks. And, recruitment is key at any level, and it's going to be vitally important to us that we get that bit right in the summer. You
mentioned the celebrations earlier, so what are the plans?
Well, I just can't wait to get home and spend the evening with my family, to be honest. We had a little moment in there together with the staff and with the players. The players will kick on, no doubt, and go and spend some quality time in each other's company. But for me, my family are a great support to me. Always there for me through thick and thin. It's not easy being married or being the son or daughter of a manager who takes sometimes the stresses home with him from his work. And we've got a really good summer to look forward to, and I'm really looking forward to just going home and sitting on the couch, watching a bit of sport, seeing a match of the day, and then enjoy a glass of wine with my wife.